The difference between a chess grandmaster and the average player like you and I is absolutely unfathomable. If you versed a grandmaster today, even if you were over 1800 ELO, your chances of beating them would still only be 1 in 1 million. But what if we moved the goalposts just a little bit? Would the difference still be so massive? Well, in today's video, we're looking at the difference between a 2000 ELO player and a 2300 ELO player. I'll be versing ApexChesss, who just hit 2000 ELO on chess.com. We'll be playing in a 10-minute rapid game, and you guys will be able to hear the thought process of both players as we navigate our way through the game. Together, we're going to answer the question, is 300 ELO that big of a gap? Let's see. Immediately we have the black pieces. We're going to play a reversed game with the white pieces, of course. I'm unfamiliar with what he plays. I know he's, okay, he plays e4. I'm going to play the Sicilian. I'm going to kind of test his theory here because I think that my Sicilian theory is very good and I think I'm going to get very good chances. I think I'm going to out-theory him in the Sicilian. We're just going to play knight c6 here, just some traditional... Ooh, okay. We're getting the Grand Prix. Oh, I've got to get rid of those alerts really quickly. Let me just do that. So we're getting the Grand Prix. Well, we want to play g6 here, and e6 is the idea. So bishop g7, e6, and knight g e7 will be the idea. If bishop b5 ever comes, we always play knight d4. And after takes, we take, kicking the knight. He's going for this there, so we're just going to continue with our plan of e6. The idea is we want to clutch on this f5 square, because in the Grand Prix, a big idea is to play f5. So, we're just going to play e6 here. And I think this is just absolutely fine. So if I run
castle, and they play d5, they drop back. I think they can go here, right? I guess if they play this, I could play bishop to b5. That is a move. Taking doesn't really work because I can just go here. Let's just castle.
I don't want to say the Grand Prix is not theoretical, but it's one of those openings that you can kind of get away with not knowing the theory. You just play logical moves. Castling is completely fine, I think. And we're going to continue with knight g e7.
He's trying to set it up. He's trying to go here so that I can't go here and destroy the structure or like something like this. Okay, this is very annoying. Very, very annoying. I might actually play bishop back. I don't really want to give up that bishop. And I've had some games where I leave the bishop on this diagonal and it doesn't really do anything over here. So I think the bishop coming back is going to probably be a move.
He's not a low-rated player by any means, but he's a lot lower rated than me, and I think I have just induced a bad move here. Bishop e2 just doesn't strike me as a great move. I don't understand the move, actually. I could castle. I could also play d5. Yeah, I don't understand what bishop e2 achieves here, actually. The idea surely cannot be to play d5. Maybe he wants d3? That doesn't make sense either. It could also be a mouse slip. I think castling is just I can never the castling he wants maybe g4. Yeah, this does not seem right. I also have knight d4 as an option, but I mean, he doesn't have to acknowledge this. He can just continue. I think castling is just a pretty standard move.
Probably equalized by now. Honestly, this is like the most annoying setup that I see. I really like when they play knight to f6. Because it gives me exactly what I want. The typical Grand Prix attack with queen e1. Now, I don't think I can really play queen e1 here. It's kind of inviting stuff like this. Now, I could play this move. I could also go rook b1. Just preemptively protecting the b2 pawn. Kind of what I'm thinking. Looking at rook b1. A3 is not really a useful move. I don't think it stops this, but I don't think we need to stop that move. The bishop's gonna be a problem if I play this. King here is also kind of ideas to rotate this way. There's lots of moves. A d4 push would be very nice at some point, but it's not possible right now. Let's go rook b1.
Could be queen b6 immediately. I'm not entirely sure. He plays rook b1. Wow. Is the idea to go here? I mean, I don't want to play a5. a5 just seems like it's, you know, it seems like it's trusting that his move is good. I don't think rook b1 is a good move, and if the idea is to play b4, I don't think this is a problem. I think I can play d5 here. d5, if you play b4, I think d4 is just more than acceptable. I mean, then maybe knight a5. Maybe it is a little bit awkward, because this pawn is a little bit weak. Although b5 I'm just taking, actually. I'm just taking with the knight. What am I talking about? No, b5 is never possible. I'm really not sure what the idea of rook b1 is. d4, maybe the idea is immediately this, but then I have this. d4. Takes. I like d4. I just... I'm not gonna pretend that I... Like d4 here, I've got here as well. I'm gonna go for d4. It just seems like the most logical thing. We spoke about this before. Takes, the bishop opens up too. d4 just seems like the next logical step in this opening.
d5, that is a scary looking move because the knight does not really have any squares. I don't really want to take that. I don't think. This is kind of the issue with the Grand Prix. I could play e5, but then d4. The knight is probably going to get trapped. Like if I went here, I think this just traps the knight. So let's not go ahead and do that. I don't really want to blunder right out of the gate. I could play queen e1 now. So that on this, I would have knight back. Kind of an interesting idea. If takes, we just take. Or do we? Queen e1, takes. They're gonna have checks. I don't think there's anything to the check though. Could also consider playing this, but no, that just loses a pawn. They just take. Let's go queen e1.
It's definitely a move like bishop e2. Okay, he finds queen e1, which I think is a good move. Probably one of the better moves in the position. First of all, I could take, and I win the pawn, but obviously giving away the dragon bishop is just absolute nonsense. I could dive in with the knights. I don't think there's ever an e5. I don't mind diving in with the knight. Okay, what about d4? d4 is also a consideration. d4, knight a4. There's also queen b6. Queen b6, there's this. d4, knight a4. There's definitely not a d3 there. There's maybe a b6. I could play b6 now. b6 now is not terrible. b6 is just a very slow move. It gives the option for bishop b7. b6... I wonder what the difference in move order is. I think b6 just gives you a bit more flexibility, because d4 you're just committing with the pawn, and then you're going b4. You're kind of making a commitment there. And then maybe like c3 can come. But if I play b3, force him to find a move, let's say a3 for example, then I play d4, then he's got to jump out to the side, and then I've got bishop b7, and I'm immediately targeting this pawn, I think I like b6 a little bit better. It does feel a little bit slow, admittedly. There's also b6, e5 maybe to look out for, but then again, just d4. And maybe then he's giving me the f5 square. Yeah, I like going b6 first. Just not making that commitment too soon, but playing a move that I know I want to play it anyway.
Oh, okay, so they just play b6. They want to go bishop b7. And that could be an issue. Because they want to put the bishop on b7, and then they want to open up the center of the board, and that bishop's going to be very strong. I mean, I'm the one that played the closed Sicilian, so... let's see. What are my options here? I could put the queen on g3 and then maybe just go for like some kind of attack. The knight's not getting trapped. Bishop b7. I don't know, there's not really an immediate threat. The only thing that I don't love is that if they ever remove the pawn, something like this, the knight's going to come in with tempo. Here I don't really want to trade though. I don't really want to commit to this move either. Maybe I go here. Now we need to do something with the queen and the bishop. Maybe here. Okay, let's go here. Get the bishop out.
Everything's opening up. Okay, he plays d3. I think this is a logical move. Logical move indeed, d3. We've always got this option, but I don't really want to ever play d4, I think. I think bishop b7 is just good. There's no worry about d4 at all. I think bishop b7 is just... We should probably just play it. Kind of put the foot on the gas a little bit here. My position, I feel, is better, slightly. Takes. Now we can take back with the pawn, which I think is probably not the right move. I think he should take back with the knight. Let's go bishop b7. It's a non-committal move that we know we want to play anyway. Let's play bishop b7, and that's the final piece activated. Okay, he quickly plays. Bishop d2 connecting the rooks. Now we've got options. The knight is not trapped by any means. It's got multiple squares to go to. But taking probably would benefit the position. Taking... I think I want to take now. I think now is the time that I want to take. And trading this knight off to activate this bishop and also allow this other knight to get into the game a little bit. I don't think my queen needs to move. I think now is when we want to take.
I mean, I was planning to go here. This was the idea. Am I missing something? What I wanted to do. Okay, let's take the knight.
He also opens up a route for my knight to jump in on f5, which is quite interesting. Probably is the better move. A move like g4 would then be met with knight d4, and suddenly this seemingly inactive knight has actually got a lot of purpose. I like knight f5. I'm not up on time. I want to play knight f5, so I'm going to play knight f5.
Looking at this square. I could consider playing like this, but then this pawn becomes very weak. I don't really want to do that. I wonder if there's ever a world where g4 is a good move here. What about king h1 maybe? Trying to play g4. No, I can't play king. No. Not on this diagonal. No. That can't happen. Knight here. We could sack a pawn. Let's try and get the bishop here maybe. Let's sack the pawn.
But he's done himself justice here. Just need to find some moves. Okay, this is interesting. Takes is just, and then he wants bishop f6 maybe. So I think we have to take. We don't have to take, but we probably will. He's only got one move for the recapture. So I think he's trying to activate his bishop like this. I mean, again, I'm not actually forced to take that immediately. I could play queen d4 check first. I can't take like this, really. I can check king over, bishop takes, pawn takes. I don't really have anything. Check and takes is maybe something. Then bishop here. Is bishop takes just fine? Bishop takes, I was worried about bishop g5. But maybe then I just have queen check anyway. I'm going to take with the bishop. Takes with the bishop, does he have this? Surely not, right? I've probably got like knight h4. Okay, let's take with the bishop. Unless I'm missing something very obvious here, I think this position is just fine.
And then maybe bishop here. It's decent. Let's go bishop here.
Maybe just okay, he's played that. Decent move actually. Because he's just got some ideas with the discovery. Maybe just takes. Oh, no, not really actually. Can I just go back to g7 here? Of course we can't. Oh no, we can check also. And we're up a pawn now, so the game has become a lot easier to play. Let's check. I think checking is just going to be best. Checking and then taking. Do we want to take? Check, king here takes. Pawn, yeah, I don't like pawn takes. I don't like pawn takes. Can I go bishop g7? I'm gonna say I can. I didn't really see a follow-up for him. I want to go bishop g7 first, just to make sure this bishop is safe. I could have also gone queen d4 check.
I mean, queen takes, bishop takes. Kind of my bad bishop. Could also go here, but then once again, there's like just knight here. Probably. Attacking this bishop. But then I could go check. Okay, let's try to trade that
Bishop
off.
g5 now, I probably got queen d4 check. Oh, wow. I've got check. Which is kind of an interesting move. I'm gonna go for check, actually. Oh wait, he had this check, which is kind of interesting. I'm gonna go for this check.
Wait, if I go here, is there a check? Takes. No, there's no checkmate because the queen
I have knight g3 ideas with take and like a queen check, but I think sadly I just fall slightly short of that. Let's take.
What? Take with the bishop? I still don't. There's no check. Now the rook's hitting. Ooh. Nice little intermezzo there. He really wants me to take.
He plays queen here. I'm gonna take here, and I'm just gonna be up a pawn.
Well, I guess there wouldn't have been any cheeky checkmate.
Oh my god, my rook was hanging. Okay, my rook was hanging there for I don't know how long. One move.
Okay.
Oh, it's actually fine. Sorry, I didn't even blunder it. The queen was under attack.
Okay, we gotta play quick.
So he's got the wrong bishop to kind of exploit my weak squares.
30 seconds. We only have 1 second increment. One pushes through.
Let's play c4.
I don't actually have to respond to this.
If takes, we can take.
Takes, we can just take back.
We don't have takes. We have queen here, though. I think he's going to go here, here, and queen here.
This is protected.
Let's continue. Try to be quick here. It's going to come down to a time scramble.
Quicker. Step up with the queen.
Where I don't think he's realizing how low his time is.
Go here.
This is tricky.
Okay, I need to make room. Oh, no. Oh, dang, I did not mean to flag.
There we go. Winning on time.
Oh,
decent game. Definitely
cooked,
some nice things to analyze there, but we'll analyze that with Apex. So, went for a Sicilian. Pretty basic. Sicilian. We get to... I mean, you don't play the traditional move order of the Grand Prix. I mean, I think this is the McDonald, right?
Yeah.
F4 is the McDonald attack. I can't actually remember. Maybe Knight C3 is the traditional move order. I can't remember. But yeah, we get to this where G6 and E6 is the main idea because you really want to have a clutch of that F5 square in the Grand Prix. Otherwise, white is going to push for F5.
Yeah, you get the typical ideas.
Yeah, so knight F3 is pretty standard, and bishop G7. Bishop C4, there's also this line.
Yeah, I didn't play. I normally play bishop B5, but I figured you'd know what the best move was, which is knight B4.
Yeah, I know this. I mean, there's like D6 lines that are a thing, but there's plenty of things to play with. I think queen B6 is a very strong line as well.
Yeah. So I knew that was the best line. I knew you'd find it, so I was like, all right, let's not do that.
Yeah. This is fine there. And then E6, of course, is the best move. You want to clutch this, make sure there's no early F5 ideas.
Yep.
And then you castle it. I think up until this point, you're pretty much playing perfectly. Knight E7 is an obvious move. And then bishop E2 was just very, very jarringly wrong. Just from the eye test.
Yeah, no.
Because it doesn't...
It's not good.
If anything, you can probably just leave the bishop there, right?
I was kind of worried that you were gonna just start tempoing it, and I didn't.
Oh, with A6.
A6, B5. I didn't really want to leave the bishop on that diagonal, and then it just gets stuck in there. Because I've had some positions where.
Worst case scenario, you play something like this, but in a position like this, you could probably just play this. I don't have immediate tempo.
Yeah,
like
that's
a B5.
fair.
So even if I do prepare A6. I mean, you could probably get away with A3. A3 is the top engine move here. It's maybe not hyper accurate, but just from a practicality standpoint, this is just... I feel like this is fine.
I've just had some positions where my bishop, like I put it on A2, and then somehow they have like a big pawn wall from like A6, B5, and C4, and my bishop just never comes alive. Yeah,
it's a little bit... But then again, I mean, my bishop's on C8. It's going to take a while to get active as well. So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But you end up going with this, and I was trying to figure out a way to punish this, but I kind of just realized that just making normal moves and waiting until you're a tempo down in a middle game would be the punishment for a move like bishop E2.
Yeah.
You play rook B1, which I also didn't really understand. I thought at first you were trying to get B4, but then just knight takes.
Yeah, no, rook B1 was a preemptive move. Just making sure that I could move the knight and not hang the B2 pawn eventually if the bishop had moved.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too slow. I mean, again, the queen E1 is always just a safe move to play. in any Grand Prix positions, because it's kind of useless on the same diagonal, or on the light squares. You can never really get in. So Queen E1's always a good move. Probably like D3 is also just fine here as well. But yeah, Rook B1 just seems a little bit slow, because I'm never really going to, unless you open up my B file for me, for example, like if we go back here, unless you plan on opening up my B file for me, I'm never gonna go for this. I mean, this is more typical for a Russell Emo.
Yeah, that's fair.
Position, but I was probably never gonna target that pawn. Yeah, so D5 again is probably top engine move. Just seems most logical. I think taking is pretty catastrophic for you. Yeah.
Yeah, you never want to take
the whole center. But then again, it because of this move Bishop E2 and this move Rook B1, you kind of get to a point, and I mentioned it, where your moves aren't easy to find. Like, apart from like the obvious two, like once you play those on the board, the moves are not easy to find. And I think you're already down a minute at this point.
Yeah, so, no, I was having a hard time.
Yeah, you ended up going Queen E1. I don't really see a problem with this. I think that's just a regular move. I mean, the engine probably think, fourth top engine move. I don't think it's a mistake. D takes I was actually toying with for a long time, but I didn't like the fact that this came with temper. And I also don't like making these pawn commitments when I can play other things that are equally as good. So, I mean, I went for B6 here, which just the exact same idea as different move order. And the idea is maybe you have D4 at some point if things change. You have pawn takes always, and now knight A4 also never comes with the threat on the C5 pawn.
Yeah.
Also just fianchettoing the bishop. I was kind of just waiting to fianchetto my bishop as well, because I was like, if you do take, maybe the bishop comes over here instead and not on the B7 square.
Yeah, because that's a monster diagonal.
Yeah, just keeping my options open, because I knew that this is the kind of position where you don't immediately have a win, but if you can just play so many different improving moves, and all of them are going to be beneficial to you.
Yeah, your position's just better long term.
Yeah. So you go with D3, which I think is fine. At this point, I was kind of like, I know I'm better, but I don't know how I'm better at all. So Bishop B7 is just a standard move. I mean, D3 standard, Bishop B7 standard. This is a pretty. I've probably played this exact position before at some point. Bishop D2 I thought was natural. I don't know what the engine expect. Yeah, I thought E5 actually. I did think this shuts out my bishop. It does give me this move. And I thought there was maybe some G5 ideas at some point, but then my knight jumps in. But I just didn't think that this was actually that bad for you. The engine disagrees. But I just thought that the fact that my bishop was out, the fact that maybe you're even threatening this F5 move at some point, felt like it. And I mean, I guess the engine really doesn't like the fact that after takes, I can play like D4 at some point, and this bishop just becomes unstoppable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was considering this E5 move. I wasn't really too worried about it. There's also just F6, which I would probably never play. But
no, it's really weakening.
Unwinds your structure. I do have the backwards pawn, but it's probably something that you can deal with.
Yeah, you'd be fine probably.
Bishop D2 is probably a move that I would play in this position as wide as well. Yeah,
well,
and then I had decided to take.
My thought process behind Bishop D2 was just like, I need to get the bishop developed, get the queen, connect the rooks.
Yeah, it's on principality. I mean, obviously you can't move your bishop here because you get the fork.
Yeah.
Just principally speak, maybe you could even like consider this. This is maybe something to consider.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a bad move at all. Yeah, and then I was toying with the idea of which commitment to make with my pawn for like basically that was like the kind of the crux of the game was which commitment do I make with the pawn. I decided to go with D takes, which I think is, along with knight D4, is one of the best moves. I thought that D takes was just much better than knight takes because it doesn't allow my knight in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But you took with the knight, which I was very happy about, and then just apparently knight F4 is not even the correct continuation of this. Or knight F5. Apparently I just don't know what I'm talking about. I mean,
it looks good to me.
So yeah, it looks pretty good. I was still worried about a move like this, but I guess the engine just doesn't believe in this structure. Because in a position like this, when your bishop is looking at the wrong side of the board, your two rooks can't really get active. I mean, your rook is active. You've got like I feel better, but like it feels like the win is still like 20 moves away almost. Like, I'm gonna have to keep applying this pressure for a long time.
Yeah.
I was also actually considering stacking here because I knew the move c3 was gonna come. I thought that it would. I think this bishop ended up moving at some stage.
I was scared to play c3 because I just thought that you were gonna pile up on d3.
Yeah, that was my idea, but I think at the end of the day, it's like too slow. Like you need to waste 2 moves, and then it's easily defendable. You just throw a rook behind it or something.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure what to do with that. Then he played knight e5, which obviously just gave me...
I was giving up the pawn for an open rook and kind of trying to open up that bishop, but...
Yeah, I thought you could just immediately cash in on this. So bishop takes. I thought you could immediately cash in with bishop g5. Apparently not. Apparently just have... I was toying with this idea, but it looked a little bit suspicious. This pawn structure.
Yeah, it does.
Bishop... Oh, wow, wait. Oh, yeah, because you can't... okay, so you have to play a real passive move, and then the engine wants something like this. Yeah, okay, this makes a lot more sense, but I thought that this was the idea of bishop g5, and I probably wouldn't have played f6. I probably just would have played. Because if you play like queen c7, I thought that bishop f6 was also good. But then I guess bishop takes.
Yeah, you lose another pawn.
So maybe here... Oh, here you go king g7. If you take, it's probably really bad, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't
so
want to
there
take
are a lot of these ideas. But yeah, you played bishop f3, which I had to sit and think about for a while, even though I didn't really have the time to.
Yeah, I think we're getting low on time here.
Because I'm like, immediately you just have this. Like, I go here, you can probably knight f6 check.
Yeah, this is the stuff that I was looking at. I was trying to get rid of that bishop.
Yeah, this bishop it seems very strong. I mean, rook a d8 now. And maybe this is like where the board is starting to open up. Just enough pieces have been traded. I mean, isn't that this? Oh, queen d4 check, right? Okay. Yeah, I think if you trade in the wrong way, even if it looks beneficial to you, the board is opened up and my advantage from before is much more apparent. Like my better pawn structure, yours is more passive. I've got the strong bishop on the diagonal. My knight is more active. Like all of these things, if you trade off in the wrong way, suddenly make a big difference. Yeah, here is the time scramble, basically. I was just throwing together moves that seemed correct. I thought that bishop d4 was just a safe move.
Yeah, definitely, because if I take, then you come in with the queen, you're just active.
Yeah, and then I took. I just didn't like this knight at all. If you took with the pawn, what happens? Oh, yeah, 93 now. Yeah, because the bishop left this diagonal. I was thinking all these 93 ideas. I think 93 was kind of prevalent later. Yeah, I was thinking here. And then
Looks
rook
very
f3.
annoying.
You can't really take. Because queen d2. And if you take, the knight is like trapped. Rook b3. Like, does it get out? Oh no, this is hanging at the end, right?
Yeah, you always have a hanging rook there.
Yeah, I just didn't think that this move was good enough. Like, it thinks that knight d5, just blocking out this bishop is very good. But yeah, I kind of just went with the safe option. I was like, okay, I'm up a pawn. Like, I assumed that you were gonna take this just as a time wasting move, and I thought that the position would get a lot easier to play. You never played, yeah, I thought you were gonna play...
Like, bishop takes and then queen up?
Yeah, but then I just would have played h4, and then...
Yeah, you just stop everything.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, and there's like back rank issues at some point, maybe queen d8, trying to trade off, queen takes d8 here, and then this is just very easily winning.
Yeah.
Nice game, though.
It was a good game.
I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you would like to see the follow-up game to this one, there will be a link to Apex's channel in the description below. Leave a comment below if you would like to see more videos like this where I verse players of different ELO levels and see what the difference is. Also, leave a comment on what other videos you would like to see on this channel. By the time that this video is uploaded, I'm going to be away in one of Australia's biggest rapid tournaments of the year. This means I won't be able to upload until I'm back, but do let me know if you guys would like to see some of the recaps of the best games I played during that tournament. Other than that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next video.